Now, as we heard yesterday, Africa is often described as the continent of the future. But the thing is, the future is no longer something that we are waiting for. After we've heard yesterday messages coming from this conference, this future is already happening. I'm delighted now to welcome Mr. Osama Al-Othman, a globally recognized tourism and investment expert whose work has focused on developing world-class destinations and attracting investments. So if you want to get to business, this is the man of the hour. Please give him a round of applause, please. Welcome, Osama. Good. Mr. Al-Othman, I mentioned the future. Is this moment, Africa's moment, taking place as we speak? The one that we waited for so long.
Okay, let me start with this. Look, I think whoever thinks or used to think of the African continent, and let's start at a very high altitude, as a continent of tomorrow, I think they're definitely wrong. Africa is the continent of today. And it is happening as we see. And we at NURU, we look at destinations that we can be developed, the potential. We look at the fundamentals, but we also look at the data. Data is extremely important for us. And if you look at the GDP in Africa, it's growing between 4 and 4.5%. If you look at the population, it's expected to almost double in 20 years' time. The average age is around 25. Okay, well, all of those are success elements for the tourism. And those are the fundamentals of the African continents today. And if we want to reduce our altitude a little bit and look at the tourism, I mean, 2025, the number of tourists has grown by 8% in Africa, that's remarkable. I mean, compared globally, the African tourism market is expected to be doubled from its current level around 30 billion to around 50 billion in 15 years' time. So all of those are good indicators, okay, from an investment perspective.
I want to talk about Angola now. What we witnessed in the last couple of days, it has stunning beaches, wildlife, storytelling, culture, authenticity, I would say, which is one of the main things that travelers are looking for these days. How can Angola use these assets and become a tourism destination that everyone's going to talk about?
I mean, if we look at Angola, Angola enjoys approximately around 1,600 kilometers of waterfront coastal line that is pretty much undeveloped yet. It's a rare case. I mean, we don't see this around the world a lot. It has the second largest waterfalls. It has the desert. So definitely it's a 360 touristic destination for any tourists. All of those are good fundamentals. And it's a rare case yet, because if you look at the tourism today, and again, we are driven by data. I mean, the tourism today contribution to the Angolians' GDP is quite low. It's below 2%. So this means that the potential is still massive. Okay? And again, because of what we do, we look everything from an angle of the investments. So all of those are good indicators.
If you're advising a country like Angola, if they hire you as your strategist, how can the country use these assets? What would be the strategy that you would recommend to them? What are the best, let's say, global practices from your experience that have been proved efficient so far?
Look, if we are honored to be part of the Angolan story, I mean, even if we contribute a small part to the success, because, look, I mean, looking at the tourism activities led by His Excellency, Angola is on the right track. Okay? Now, my advice, my humble advice would be is there is a period, first of all, is the nation needs to be patient in developing their tourism strategy. There is probably 1 to 4 years, the first 4 years is where needs to be focused on, quote unquote, the frictionless experience of the travelers, the air connectivity. Those are all essentials, ingredients for a successful tourism destination. At the same time, is focus on probably in the first, again, 4 years on developing 2 to 3, if I may, signature tourism zones. And that can be wildlife, waterfalls, and coastal line. Because Angola needs to focus first on probably the low volume, high value tourists. Because this segment gives the credibility, okay, and finance the brand of Angola, okay. After that, then Angola can start targeting the middle class travelers, that they will finance the working capital of the tourism. So with that strategy, is definitely Angola needs the 2 segments, okay? But it's a matter of sequencing, okay? Going into a high volume touristic strategy creates a burden on developing the infrastructure of the country. Okay, the low value gives the credibility and kind of focus the infrastructure development into a micro infrastructure, into the destinations, the zones, the identified touristic zones.
You know, global tourism investment is becoming so competitive. So many countries want exactly what Angola wants as well. So how can this country particularly stand out?
I mean, if you look at the latest studies and surveys of the tourists globally, there is approximately around 80% of the participants where they say culture, authentics, those are extremely important. And Angola has that. I mean, we've been here. This is my first visit to Angola. I've been here for 2 days. I have seen a beautiful culture, okay? So that's one angle. The second thing is people also look at, it's not anymore, everybody's competing on the same ground, but it's not anymore about the asset that you are building. It is about the experience that you can offer, how much you can personalize. The traveler or the tourist can personalize his trip or his experience. That is extremely essential. Okay, it's more important from the asset that you are building. And Africa in general, Angola in particular, have this in their DNA. So that ingredient, important ingredient, is already available.
So practically, when the government asks a strategy from you and from your experience, they usually want to know also what will be their main challenges. When we talk not just about Angola, but Africa in general, what do you see as the main obstacles in achieving those tourism goals and growth?
Probably the first challenge, I would say, is the air connectivity. Connectivity. Yeah. You know, that is, I think that is a challenge that is across Africa. That needs to be addressed, and a solution needs to be there. Inter-Africa connectivity is also, that's something that needs to be addressed. Then we come to what I call the frictionless experience, i.e. the visas. I mean, I had wonderful experience in the visa now. When I came here, I mean, I didn't have to apply for a visa or anything. I mean, I just came to the airport, got my passport stamped, and left. That needs to be widened, okay, and make that process much easier So those probably the fundamentals, okay, for a successful tourism strategy. Then you go into what you are building and the investment that you're going to inject into this. So, and how you can attract the FDIs, the foreign investments into that. One thing is what I call is a one-stop shop. Okay, I mean, investors, when they go to a different, or when they go outside of their natural boundaries, is they look at the ease of doing the business, how much easy for us to get the permits, licensing, everything else. Land concessions. Land is extremely important, okay, for the investors. Last but not least is the governance. And when I say about the governance, it's mainly I'm talking about governance and risk mitigations. Okay. Some risk framework needs to be put together, and anti-corruption framework needs to be there. All of this gives the investor the comfort. As a second stage, then you can start talking about, tax relief, the PPP framework and structure and everything else. But the first three are the fundamentals that you need to focus on.
We spoke briefly before this panel, and you mentioned something very interesting, and that is the good strategy would be also focusing on certain areas. Would that be a good choice for Angola to maybe focus on certain parts of the country first? Would that make the results feel like they're coming faster than we are used to?
Yeah, I mean, look, Angola is a widespread country, and if you're going to say that, look, we're going to develop a tourism in everything, in every area, that is kind of exhausting mission, if I may say. So 2 to 3 as an initial, 2 to 3 touristic zones that needs to be selected carefully, that they're pretty much unique to Angola, would be a good start and a takeoff point from that point.
And let me conclude this with asking you, every good strategy means you're following the trends. The latest traveler trends are showing that everyone's looking now for authenticity. They're looking for something more than just to come into a resort and stay there. They want experience.
Yes.
Can Angola has all that? Yeah. Can they use this momentum?
Yeah, I mean,
everything is working towards them, I would say.
Exactly.
The trends are saying that.
I mean, look, is again, today when a tourist travels, it is not what I have seen, it is what when I left this destination, what did I take with me, okay? And that is culture, authentics, food, okay? Traditions, art, all of that plays a factor in them. And also, I mean, like the latest study shows that the tourists today they are willing to pay more for a personalized service, okay? And Angola has it. I mean...
What will you take from this trip to Angola? What will be your first association?
What would be my first one?
Yeah, association with Angola now. What would be the first thing?
First of all, people are extremely friendly.
Yeah.
Okay, I have to say, I mean, the Angolians, the people here are always smiley, very helpful, and what I felt personally is like the hospitality is in their blood, it's in their DNA, okay? This is extremely important. And it's definitely, that's my first trip, but definitely it's not gonna be my last.
Thank you so much,
Thank
Osama Al Othman, founder and managing director of NURU. Thank you so much for this conversation.